Yeah, no, I did that the other day. I play it on my TV a lot, but the other day I picked it up and I was sitting in my chair playing Pokemon, and then like 3 hours later, I look up and realize that my TV's right in front of me and it's off, and I'm playing like,
Yeah.
like
Welcome, everyone, to the comic book club episode 1. Comic book club
11.
this is 11. Yes, this
Yeah.
is the comic book club number 11. I know you've waited. You sold you've mortgaged your home off. You've moved out of your trailer park. You have um, put your final $5 of gas into your car just to make it to hear us today. Uh, Thank you for that. We appreciate it. We love you for it. It's not just a show about comic books. This is a show about everything. Corey and I love life, and and we'll tell it like it is. So, thank y'all for keeping with us. We appreciate it. Before we get into any comics that we read this week, Corey, what you been doing? I know you've been video gaming, dude. Listen. I guess I shouldn't have asked you that because I'm gonna tell you right now what I've been doing. I have completely checked out of video games a little bit, man, and it worries me. I bought Death Stranding and I played about 5 minutes, and then I saved it and quit.
Oh my god!
I haven't done
You
anything with
play
it.
it, dude. I
I
think
know.
there's a chance you'll really like it. I
I
think
think I
you'll be
will
on the.
too.
It's divisive. People are divisive about it, and I think you'll be on the side that likes it for
No, I think I
sure.
will too, but it's not an issue of like if a game is good or not. That's not a like why. It's just that my life's just been crazy that I haven't even like had the urge to pick up a controller and
No,
and do
I
something.
feel you.
Like I
I go
just
through
haven't.
spurts. I'll go through months
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. I haven't like been drawn to it. Now, I'm not saying that. Look, it's happened before where I couldn't put it. Celeste was a game I could not put down. Like,
Right.
I wasted my life for a good chunk of that.
I was
Like,
just listening to that album the other day.
I got it down there. I'm looking at it right now. I'm a
I got
vinyl
it right
collection
here.
to the left. Yeah, fucking right. Bravo, bravo. Um, but I did buy. I bought Death Stranding. And then I bought. You're gonna find this funny. I got stuck on Zelda: Link's Awakening. I'm gonna have to cheat and like read the map walkthrough because I'm blown. I'm at Eagle's Tower and I'm like, man, I don't know what. Like this is way too complicated for me to
Right.
figure out.
That's fine. I always do. If I get stuck someplace too long, I
Oh,
always look
dude.
it up.
The thing is, I ain't got that kind of time to waste to like go through because it's like 4 floors, I think, in Eagles Tower, and it's multiple puzzles, and like you gotta go back to the passage, the staircase to go back up, and it's like I ain't got that kind of time. So
Yeah,
I figured out most
trying
of
to.
it. You know, it's not
That's
like I
something I
walked in
don't.
and hey, it's not like I walked in and looked at a map immediately. Like I did as much as I could before I ran into a wall, and now I'm ready to read like an outside map and be like, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing more frustrating than getting for me at least, getting stuck somewhere in a video game. Like as soon as I get stuck and I realize that I'm not making any progress, I'm like, I'm wasting my fucking time here. I'm
Yeah.
literally wasting my time.
Yes.
Like I get
So it
pissed
is.
off. Like so then like I could be doing anything else. I could be progressing in this. I could be doing something else, but right now I'm not doing anything. Like I'm
That's
just
totally
fucking
what it
stuck,
is.
and like I get like it
That's
pisses me off
absolutely what
sometimes.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, totally. Um, so in that break, while I try to figure out Link's Awakening, I got um well, I got Star Wars Pinball.
Oh,
Which I thought I was like again, Switch, like $30 for that game, you know, that's you're ripping me off here.
yeah.
But I played like 5 minutes of it and paused it. I haven't gone back yet.
Really?
But I will say this: like, you need a game that you can pick up and put down. Whatever,
Mhm.
yeah. And Zelda's not one of
Yeah,
those
definitely.
games, right? Zelda's a puzzle
Oh,
game. Like, you get caught up in it, that's gonna cost you 30 minutes to an hour, like at
yeah.
least, just to fucking get your bearings and like think about what you
Yeah.
need to do. The pinball game, I mean, it's pinball, like, so
Right.
I needed
Yeah.
something that I could be like just fiddle my fingers with, fucking
Yeah.
play. And I think it's fleshed out enough that it's kind of cool. Like, there's different ways to play it, and it's got a bunch of storylines in it and ways to, work up your table and stuff. So I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I just I needed something different, But outside of that, I really haven't been playing many video games. I Comics have been my thing again, but not quite as
Again.
much again. but but I did read some good ones, so but I guess I'll jump into them real quick. X-Men #1. We had the launch of X.
Yeah, I read X on #1.
Yeah.
Like right when it
Um,
came out.
I read Marauders #1, which is connected to that. Um, I finished Silver Surfer Black, final episode, final
Oh,
issue.
really?
Yeah, final issue. Man, I think I'm gonna get it for Nate if it comes out with the compendium. I guess he's hearing this and he'll know, but if he listens. But
You listen.
if it comes out before Christmas, I was gonna get him this because I think like it's something he's ignoring and because he's too busy, obviously. And this like
Yeah, if you get
gets
it
it
for
in,
him, he'll read it though. Yeah.
yeah, he'll read it. He'll read it absolutely. If I get it for him, he'll read it. So that close that out. It was amazing. Some of the best art of the year. Second Coming #4, obviously amazing. Flintstones Volume 2, I finished. Obviously amazing. Wonder Twins #9, obviously amazing. That's all my Mark Russell books for the month, which I cannot believe continue to be awesome. He's like the funniest guy in the industry right now. Two things, and then I'll end my little spiel. Um, well, I guess three things. Okay, Batman 82. We're wrapping up Batman, Tom King. It's getting better because I was hating for a long time.
Yeah, I fell off after the wedding or the whole Catwoman
Well,
thing.
I can't blame you because there's a lot of stuff that people I feel overhyped, and I didn't care for. It wasn't my flavor of ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe
I
somebody else.
love some of those.
But some of it, yes.
That double
And
date was great.
the Double Date was one of the best issues in that series. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, but we are getting some really good stories, like issues again. 82 was awesome. I'll give it that for sure.
Yeah. I should jump back into. I should I should read the end of his run for sure because I read a lot of it. I really liked it. That was one of the only DC books I was reading. Like that was one of my favorite books when it first came out.
And don't get me wrong, the art is the art is flawless. I mean, there's nothing like that is some of the most perfect art in the industry. Like in terms of a superhero book, like you don't want like somebody like Clay Mann, like you can't ask for better work than what he's put there. The next thing is I kind of want to complain about Absolute Carnage a little bit.
Really?
I do. It's not that I haven't been liking. I mean, Donnie's always awesome. The writing's great. As a crossover event, again, like Marvel, I got issues with them. The longer they go on, like they start off great, but you start reaching those middle issues and they get muddy and I feel like I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm trying to think theoretically, if you have as many Carnages as they're saying that are out there fighting, like the Thing and Wolverine, like we're talking about hundreds of Carnages, I think. Like the Carnages would win. I'm sorry. I just don't think I don't think it's a fair fight. And somehow they make it seem like it's a fair fight. And I'm like, no. Like if they can repossess you and you got 4 dudes and you got hundreds of symbiotes around you and you're trying to fight them off as badass as you are, no. At that point, it's a logistical issue that doesn't make any sense at all. You know? Right? Do you agree with me there? Because
yeah, totally. Yeah.
We're talking about an army of Carnages, not just one. Yeah. Like Carnage by himself was enough to take on like a lot of people. Right. To have hundreds of them is ridiculous.
Yeah, and like a god with the symbiote, and like it's they're. I mean, that's comic books are normally like that. Like in general, they're overcoming impossible odds. That's kind of a general theme. But this is a little more extreme. It's many cards.
A little bit more extreme. Now, the one highlight is obviously Eddie's kid. I think that is the one storyline to pay attention to. That's awesome. I like when kids get their powers early. I won't go into more than that. But it's awesome.
That's a spoiler to me.
What's that?
That's a spoiler. I didn't know his kid had powers.
Well, it's a misleading spoiler because that's not actually that's not necessarily what it is. So, it's a misleading spoiler. Yeah. It might not even be that. It's like a question mark. So, but yeah, Absolute Carnage. I'm hoping it's gonna wrap up soon. I think I got some other complaints too online about people saying like it's setting up something else, and I'm like, oh no, that's the worst. Don't do that. Like, don't do all this to set something else up again. Anyway, and then my other books were Guardians of the Galaxy 10 was awesome. Marauders 1 was awesome. And Sharky the Bounty Hunter 6 was awesome. But the craziest book was and I talked to you privately about this, but Immortal Hulk 25 was so off the charts that I don't have any words to properly describe it. I mean, it's something that.
What did we do on the show? 23, 22?
Yes, and I cannot even.
I'm not far behind. It'll be easy for me to catch up to 25.
No, it's not. Well, it'll be easy, but when you read it, you're not gonna even feel like you're reading the same thing. And then at the end of the book, it all hits you, and you're like, "Oh my god!" But up
Really?
until yes,
That
up
makes
until
sense.
that, up until that, and I'm talking about like Alan Moore level writing. Like this is some of the best Al Yu writing of the entire, like probably of his career, is in this book.
Yeah.
Like the descriptions, what he goes into, the artwork, it is so insane and bizarre, and about as far from a Marvel book as you can imagine. Uh, it's closer to Vertigo, and it's closer to like Gaiman or more than it is anything else that I've read from Marvel. And then you get the bombshell at the end of the issue, and you're like, "Did I just read what I thought I read?" And like, yeah, so absolutely, dude, catch up, read Immortal Hulk 25, and just you know, if you need to get it twisted before you read it, do what you got to do because it's absolutely worth it. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough.
Right.
Cool. That ends our.
So I mean, yeah, you never let me say what I did this week.
I'm so sorry. I thought we had talked about video games and that was it.
No,
Did you read books?
You started by saying, "What'd you play this week?" Wait, let me say that I didn't play anything, and then went into your.
That's such a dick move. I'm sorry.
I played a lot
I
this
apologize.
week.
For everybody listening to this, I truly apologize because I did. I jacked his shit and then I didn't hand it back. So, Corey,
It's all good.
take it.
So,
What happened?
much
I know
like
you finished a JRPG somewhere.
No, I didn't. I wish I did. But no, I didn't read anything besides Eternals, which was a lot to read.
Shit, yeah.
But,
Man.
So,
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's the long one. But I did Death Stranding and Pokemon are two of my most anticipated games. Probably my two most anticipated games of the year. They both came out, and I've been playing the shit out of them. And I love them both. I really love Death Stranding. Like it's definitely
That's
game of the
crazy.
year.
You really love it. Wow.
It might be like I almost want to give it the 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Borderlands doesn't even compare. Like it's just, it's
like
so cool and like people, people like everybody's like, oh, it's
too weird.
This is what happens when you let somebody make art instead of a video game, and
I like
it's just
art,
boring,
man.
and it's boring, and it's like it's not fucking boring. Like, I mean, like
it's not Journey.
You got to be in the right. It's his. It's not Journey, but it is his journey. It's Sam Porterbridge's journey, and it's like once you hear the backstory and you go through all the awesome characters like Mama and Deadman and Hartman and all everybody, all the characters in there are so cool. And then Sam, the main character, his story is really cool, and you don't even learn even half of it until almost the end of the game. But it's
that's awesome.
As once you start learning what's happened in his past, and then it's all about his journey. And when you're hiking through the mountains and shit, like I like get into his head, and I like start thinking about what he's been through. And he's out there by himself, not because he's bored. Like, he doesn't want to be part of society anymore. And it's
the last time you talked about it,
the
last time you talked about a game like that was Red Dead. You said, "I am that character." Yeah. So that's an attractive quality to a game to me. Yeah. Is to be in the character, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like in that game. Totally, I feel like I'm in the character, and I really like it. It's on Red Dead Witcher level for me. I mean, like
Wow, that's heavy
it's
words.
it's 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 I really like it. I'm really digging it. Definitely a game of the year so far. I have Fallen Order, but I haven't played it yet, so I
I know
can't
people
speak on
screaming
that.
about that. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. But I really love Death Stranding. Um, and Pokemon's great too.
Pokemon's the top seller
It's
on Switch right now.
I'm sure it is. It
Yeah.
will be for a long time.
Can you
It's
explain to me, as a non-Pokemon person, what these games entail?
I mean they're very. You're a Pokemon trainer. You start out as a kid in your mom's house. Um, you get a Pokédex from the professor. Um, you go out and start collecting Pokemon. You challenge gyms. Once you beat all the gyms, you fight the Elite Four, and then you're the greatest Pokemon trainer
Is it a
of all time.
multiplayer sort of like focused game?
I mean, it's in a way, yeah. It's all about trading and battling other people. Like that's what it comes down to. But I've not really
Yeah.
been into battling too much. I like the breeding aspect of it. The Pokemon breeding is the most complicated thing, one of the most complicated things in video games. Like, it's so crazy. Like, it's so hard to do that. Like, I can't even explain how to do it, and I don't even know how to do it. And
That's great.
there's so many different traits, and you have to it takes hundreds of hours to breed the perfect Pokemon and stuff like, and I would like to do that kind of stuff, but for me it's a novelty. It's almost just like I've been playing Pokemon since I was 9 years old, and it was my
Right.
favorite
You have
game
a
at the time,
history with it.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
came out every 2 years since I was that age, and I've had everyone, so I just love it. But
Yep.
it's really good so far. It seems more condensed, and they cut out a lot of like you can catch almost all the Pokemon in the game like right away, which is unheard of
That's
for Pokemon
bizarre.
games, and a lot of people don't like that. But I
I just
really like it.
wondered if it was worth it for me to jump in at this point without having any
Prob-
history of it.
Probably not, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, it's
It's for the
but
fans. The
yeah,
files. Yeah.
it's it's for kids or people who have been playing it since they were kids.
Right.
To be
Right.
honest, but which I I really like it, but it's no Death Stranding. but
Right.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's only so much, like that
but
formula.
it is good. Like you were saying with Star Wars, it's a really good pickup game. I can pick it up and play it for 10 minutes and not have to worry about what happened before or what's happening
Absolutely.
in the
The
story. I can
puzzles
just
and all that.
like
Yeah.
like I'll get out of the shower and I'll have 15 minutes before I have to start getting ready for work, and I'll just grab my Switch and play Pokemon for 15 minutes
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah, you
So,
gotta have that game on tap that's just mindless and, like very easy to pick up and put down.
right.
Gotta have it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm digging
Respite.
it though.
Call it respite. That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you read anything else?
Nothing.
That's it.
That's
So
it.
you got your VGs. You listen to any music this week?
Um, no.
Dude.
I did. I listened to Celeste, and I listened. Actually, I was listening to a lot of records. I listened to my dad's old Sticky Fingers album. It
Oh
has a
my
zipper on
God,
the
dude,
front.
Sticky Fingers. So
It
wait, is that an
has the
original Sticky
zipper.
Fingers
Yeah,
with the zipper?
yeah.
You know how much that's worth, dude? With the zipper
I don't know.
intact?
Yeah,
It's a
it's
lot.
intact.
Dude, that's worth a lot of money. I'm
It's in
telling you,
rough
Corey.
shape. but the zipper is intact. I just listened
Corey,
to
I'm
it. It
telling you,
still
it's worth a
plays
lot of
good.
money. It's worth a
Really?
lot of money. Yes, keep it in something.
I
Yes.
just it's sitting with my other records. I just played it the other day. See, I got the
I don't know if
insert
your dad
still.
forgot that or doesn't know it, but I'm telling you, like, but besides
Yeah,
me, like, loving that
there's,
album
there's
completely, like, Can't You Hear Me Knocking is my favorite song on that.
yeah,
Besides, and Sister Morphine, that's my two tracks.
yeah. System are great.
Oh, dude, Sister Morphine is
Yes.
unreal. When
Yeah.
that steel guitar comes in, it's just like, oh my god, load it up. Let's do
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Right. And then yeah. Uh, how valuable? What do you mean?
I'm gonna get you
Talking
some
hundred
numbers
bucks?
offline. I'll get you some numbers offline, but yes, to have a zipper intact on Sticky Fingers is a big deal among audiophiles, like
Dude, the
vinyl files.
zipper is solid still. It's like it's in
Yeah,
good
it's a
condition.
big deal.
Pretty
What
good.
about the actual
Yeah.
record itself?
Really good. There's one the B side plays all the way through, sounds good. The A
Okay,
side starts repeating itself during one song, and you
you
can
can
get
fix that.
past it. But
What about the sleeve outside of the zipper?
the sleeve's pretty good. The sleeve is this is one side of it,
Yeah,
and this is the other side of it.
the
And
inside.
it's
Yeah,
this
you know
is
how many like the you don't have any rips or dents? Too bad, right?
not many rips or dents.
I'm gonna get you a
Uh,
price by tomorrow.
I mean,
Cause,
it's in. If I would, I would call it poor condition overall for the whole thing. Like there's
but
little
if the
folds and stuff.
zipper's
I mean, my dad
intact,
listens. The zipper's intact.
if
Yeah.
the zipper's intact, you might want to frame that shit. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that. That's
you listen
last.
to what
I
else?
listened to this last
It's
album.
phenomenal.
Um,
Yeah.
great. And then I don't know if you're a Bright Eyes fan at all, but the
No,
Bright
I
Eyes
know
the
Colin Oberst. I don't know much of his stuff though,
Connor.
man. Yeah. Did I say Colin?
the
Connor.
like yeah, it's the longest album title, Lifted or The Story is in the Soil. Keep Your Ear to the Ground by
Yeah.
Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
Great album though. I really like Connor in it. It's like it's very country, like it's steel guitar and like old timey country music, but him screaming over it and stuff, which is like
That's pretty
which
great.
is weird, but it's really good, and he definitely puts a lot of emotion into it. I really like that album.
That's
So
totally awesome.
that's what I listen to.
The only ones I've been sticking on is Mazzy Star, as I mentioned, and I've been on Steely Dan, dude, like big time, like hardcore Steely Dan action, all the way from um, Can't Buy a Thrill to Gaucho, which I already had Gaucho on vinyl, but I have Asia, obviously, but I listened to Deacon Blues probably 17 times this week. It's just, man,
Yeah.
unstoppable lyrics, dude. Love it. Anyway, that's our music section. That concludes. Let's get to our book this week.
Yeah.
Our book, proud to announce, is Marvel's Eternals,
Journals.
which was published. I don't know if it was published, but it started in 2006, carried over into 2007. 7-part series. I imagine the hardcover and softcover was published not long after that. This is Marvel Comics, obviously, Marvel's Eternals. Neil
Yeah,
Gaiman.
I read it digitally, and it was released digitally in 2009, but I think it was originally released in 2006. So like
Yeah,
I think they re-released it or something.
yeah.
But,
So this is Neil Gaiman writing for Marvel, along with John Romita Jr. doing the artwork. And the movie, this is the I think the next big tentpole movie for
It is.
Marvel
I'm pretty sure.
in the
Yeah.
MCU, and especially after reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, that might be like a big step. Is coming out next year in November. Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, the guy that played Rob Stark, is in it.
Really?
Yeah, I think actually Rob Stark is gonna play Icarus. Either well, no, I think he
Or
might be. Yeah,
Markai.
Makari. Yeah,
Makari.
which I think he would be perfect if he.
Yeah, Makari would be way better than Icarus. I feel like he'd be
Yes,
definitely way more suited to
agreed,
Makari.
agreed. I hope that's it. I hope that's it. Yeah, dude, I read this once already. I had to go back and read it for this assignment. I I freaking loved it, man. I I actually love when Gaiman does superhero stuff. Uh
Yeah.
because he mixes in his style of whimsy and like mythology and infuses it into something like a Marvel or DC universe. And it's so refreshing to hear because it doesn't get done a lot. Like he's so renowned for the style of writing that he does with creating his own mythologies and magic and stuff like the Sandman and Heaven and Hell and this, for him to do superheroes and especially with John Romita Jr. doing the artwork to complement it was just so awesome. And it came out of left field, I feel like. It's like I was not expecting it to go the way that it went. Like the Mark Curry storyline through the first 3 issues was just awesome. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the first 3 issues for sure. I mean, it wasn't even a superhero book yet. It was just
Yeah.
it was about him as a doctor and him with Cersei and just the whole introduction to them as regular humans before they realized they were Eternals was really cool. Like that was one of my favorite parts about the book.
Yeah, totally. And it's a huge shout out to Jack Kirby. I just want to put an interesting footnote from Wiki that I read when I was doing the research on it. In 1970, Jack Kirby left Marvel to work at DC, and he actually wrote all the New God stuff. So Apocalypse, Mr. Miracle, all that stuff was created by Kirby, right? And
Oh, really?
yeah, and he didn't get to finish it. Those books were not finished, and he went back to Marvel and basically wrote. He created it. Stan Lee had nothing to do with it. This is
Yeah,
all
I
Jack
can
Kirby.
believe that.
Yeah. Kirby created the Eternals upon returning to Marvel, and it was mythological science fiction concepts, and he was going to have an ending for it, but it was left incomplete after they canceled those titles as well.
Yeah.
So I think Gaiman took up off those plots because they had only been habitually used since then. But Gaiman took it to a spot that made it just awesome. Like when the homeless dude shows up in the second issue and Circe immediately acknowledges him before they cut to the next scene. I thought that was a cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
just
party setup. Yeah.
Yeah, party setup, and it's so weird that this is going to be part of the MCU, and I don't know how they're gonna bring Celestials in, which is huge.
And I've seen the footage I've seen of it shows that they're the same size. They're gonna be that big.
They need to be that big.
Yeah.
Like, they're they scare Galactus. They scare the Watcher.
Yeah. I actually wrote that down as a note. They scared Galactus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, for them, I I really hope they do it justice in the MCU and don't. I really like everything they've done in the MCU so far, so I think they'll do good with it. But just them being created by the Celestials and the they can't
It's a
make it as
lot to
dark with
tackle.
them killing each other. Like
It's a lot to tackle,
when
dude. Like, and it's
when
so
when
different than
Icarus
what we've.
snapped that kid's his neck in the train or
Yes.
whatever. Like I was like, oof.
Yeah.
Like,
That was wild.
was,
That was
yeah,
wild.
like
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know if they
and
can go that dark. Yeah, I don't know if
when
they can go that dark, and we have not seen anything like this in the MCU. I mean,
yeah,
like this is
Dirk's making people kill themselves and making other people like
right.
it's yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, what they do to Icarus at the initial beginning to try to
yeah,
kill him.
yeah, right.
I mean,
Acid
is
bath, throw him in the fucking
yeah,
iron cauldron and all that shit. Yeah,
yep,
yeah. It's
dude. But
I'm interested to see what they do with it and
I
how they
know
do it and like
reading this
'cause-
really hyped me up for the movie. To be honest, I'm like, I'm ready now to see it. Like, yeah, next year's gonna be great. I thought to get kind of fangirly here, the interplay between Mark and Circe I thought was adorable. Like that whole
oh
like,
yeah, I really like
oh
that. Yeah.
man, they were fantastic. That was such a like great romance, and the fact that they've
Yeah.
broken up multiple times.
Yeah, multiplies over millions of years and yeah, and yep, and
And
who
all
who
get
was
back
it who
together.
was telling Mark? Who told
Sprite,
Mark?
I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it was
Sprite.
Sprite.
Yeah, yeah, it was Sprite. Yeah, like it's just funny to me when you guys both went and banged other people and you both broken up multiple times and now you're back in love again. It's hilarious to watch. Like
Yeah.
it's at that. Yeah, and you could tell though they had real feelings for each other. Like
Oh yeah.
with them not remembering that what had happened, they
Oh, she
truly
touched it.
had.
That was such an
Yeah, like,
important panel that her hand touched his at the cafe. I was like, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I loved it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that part was really cool. Like I thought that was.
That was awesome. The party, my favorite part of the party was Gaiman showing the physics of Mark's speed. And when he talks through it, and he's like,
Right. Yeah.
I see pink in front of me and like darker in back of me. And I need to make sure that these bullets, like the kinetic energy,
Yeah, I
go
liked how
somewhere.
he. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome,
Yeah, the
man.
kinetic energy thing, the whole how he thought about that as a doctor and someone who's obviously very smart would think about that.
Yep.
Like me, if I'm a super speed guy, I'm just going and grab all them bullets, fucking, and probably cause mass havoc. But he he thinks it out and
Yeah.
puts them in the stuff. Yeah, that part was really cool. Yeah, and
That was awesome.
it's the only time I've ever seen a speedster bring that up. Like
Physics. Yeah.
like in any comics, like
And breaking
they
their
never
ribs. Yeah.
like it's
Yep.
always when you see it in the movies, it's always just running through, plucking the bullets out of the air, and just having fun with it. But it's the only time I've ever seen some like I'm already afraid that I've broken a bunch of their bones, and
Yeah.
like
It was awesome.
like
He
yeah
really thought it through. I mean, it
yeah
was fantastic. Like having Gaiman examine a speedster and go through the physics of it was unreal to me. That was such a great part of it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I assume this takes place right after or during Civil War because Stark is just a complete asshole the
Yeah,
whole time.
I that's what I kind of liked about it. I
Yeah,
meant like is Stark being in it. I really liked him being in it, and it made it part of the MCU, yet
yeah.
still something totally like separate. Like, but I like that they brought it into it with Tony, and Gaiman wrote Tony really well in it. I thought,
He did.
but the I
They
don't know
can
if it
draw him.
was they were telling him he needed to register. I wonder. See, I was thinking of it as like the beginning of Civil War. I wonder if it was before or after. We should. Someone tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I think it was
Watching.
immediately. I want to say it was immediately after maybe issue 1 was released or something of Civil War, because Tony had just gotten appointed, and he's the one that decided like they have to register. Well, it was after the whole like terrorist incident where these good guys showed up and accidentally killed a bunch of people, and that's why he was like, we have to make sure. Maybe it was bad guys that did. I don't know. It's been so long since I read Civil War, but
when was Civil War? No, that's not my question. When did Tony go sober?
definitely before that. Yeah.
It was within my lifetime though. Like
Yes. It was definitely before Civil War though, because
like,
dude,
10 years ago or something.
he joined the U.S. government during Civil War. Like he became like an agent of like U.S. Like the Pentagon, basically. He was working for him.
I like alcoholic Tony better than sober Tony.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, it could be because I'm an alcoholic also, but hey,
yeah.
I don't know. That might
be.
But so, side note, everybody, we get to like I totally drink during the show. I have no qualms about that. This is not for kids. Like this is for the real people out there that enjoy having some fun, drinking their shit. Come and chill with us. Talk about comic books. Yeah, there you go. Back to the book. I just thought he came off as an asshole with the whole Civil War thing, like asking people to register, even though, and it took him all the way till the end of the book to realize, like, oh, these people are way above my level. I was like, dude, you're smarter than this. Like, come on.
I mean, I don't think he came off as an asshole, honestly. Like, if he was on the government's side, like, he wasn't saying we're gonna arrest you if you don't register or anything. Like, he was like, all right, I'll give you some time to think about it. And like, and if this was after Civil War, then he had taken a strong stance, and he wasn't saying we're gonna arrest you or take you in or you have to register. Like, he was, but he was putting a little pressure on her, and that's just
no. Towards the end, he did.
That's what
he was like
do.
Him and Hank.
Yeah, when Hank said, Hank said you need to register.
They were both saying you need to register, and I was like, y'all need to chill. Step back.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, I was.
Yeah, this is not a robot, dude, from Japan. Sorry.
Right.
But I thought Druid was badass. The fact that he's getting people to commit suicide.
Yeah.
and like,
he's still like kind of one of the heroes in the end.
Yeah. Towards it. Yeah. Absolutely. Once they found him,
they like, he's one of the heroes in the end, and they let him go, and their whole reason for letting him go is like, we can stop him. We've stopped him before if we need to.
That's what's so great. Yeah, they were like, we'll give him his country back that he wants to run. You know, we'll deal with it when we have to deal with it. I was like, that. It's so different, man. Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Going in, like, that was like going into reading this, I just expected the Eternals to be kind of like the. I guess I was gonna say like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like where I just expected them to be a team going into this, and they're definitely not a team.
No, they're gods, like, man. They're so much powerful. Yeah.
And they're at wits with each other, and like they have their own shit going on. I thought the Eternals was gonna be like I thought it was just a core group, like a superhero team, and that's not what it is.
They announced that Captain Marvel was the most powerful person in the MCU up to this point, and I guarantee you, when this drops, they will all dwarf her completely.
Oh yeah, the Celestials?
Yeah.
You don't stand a chance against them.
Absolutely not. No. but they don't care. They're not there for power or like their goals once they remember what they are and who they are and what they're there for. They're not like they're so far above. It's like they explain this a few times in it. Like it's like comparing ants to people. Like it's not the same.
Yeah, no,
The values.
that's what Icarus or whoever it was said to Tony when he asked him to register. He was like,
Right.
It's like you're asking me to register, and I see you
pick a
as
side
two ants.
Pick a side between two kids fighting for a dirty playground.
Yeah.
And it's like exactly. And then he was just in shock after he said that. It's hard to believe this is where the MCU is going next because it's so massive. I mean, it is so big in scope that I don't exactly know. Like, I guess they'll just have their own thing on the side, but it leads me to believe that either Galactus or Kang the Conqueror is going to be like the next bad guy because.
Yeah.
But even them, like, they can't hang with them. I don't know, like, who would be the next bad person. They're just going to have, like, their own, like, side storyline, I imagine.
I mean, you don't defeat the Celestials. You reason with them or something. I don't even fucking know. You can't even really reason with them. You
just wait for them to make their decision on whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what they do with this. I hope they do it well.
I enjoyed the Sprite like heel turn because I did not read that I should have picked up on it that he was going to be like sort of a bad guy and a mischief at first. And I didn't pick up on it before it happened. And then, dude, there was something in there that was really messed up to me. And I guess it's because it's a little dated from 06. Because I don't know if it would fly the same way, but he talks about how, like, he tried to hit on Circe. And she was just like, "You're much too young." And I was like, that's fucked up for a Marvel book, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was pissed that he couldn't get laid.
He couldn't get laid.
Yeah. It is kind of fucked up for him, but I mean, it's understandable.
Absolutely. Like to be the kid for millions of years.
For millions of years, stuck in an 11-year-old body, and everyone to always see you as a kid would be awful.
Right, and I can't blame him for trading it all just so he could actually grow and live a life,
Yeah, but he didn't even make it a year.
Yeah.
He got his neck stamped before he even turned 12.
Dude,
that was the other thing when he was like, I'm just a kid. He was like, you haven't been a kid in a million years.
I know.
Oh, it was like that was intense. Like he is a child. Like at that point, he is an 11-year-old child.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
Another thing, I'm glad you bring that up. I remember before Thinna got attached to her kid again after her husband died. There's a scene where she picks him up and she looks at him like he's a puppy or something. And she's looking at him like she doesn't understand what he is.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
that was a weird scene,
awesome.
isn't it? Yeah. And I loved her interactions with her dad, with the dog.
Yes.
He's like, you have a child, you have a dog, and you need a bath.
And you need a bath. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and
at the same time, she's comparing her child to a dog, like
right.
really cool.
And it was super creepy when Gaiman had everybody reciting the Celestials' language at the end,
Yeah.
like in their sleep. I was like, oh my God, he's just such a like he was really in his high point back then. He was just like, man, he was in the thick of his game.
Yeah, he did a
You know?
great job expressing that too, like just
Yeah,
showing the different panels of everybody, and then showing the couple heroes that were susceptible to it, and it was just that part was cool. Yeah, when they were all reciting the golden celestial.
yeah. The only thing that threw me off, and I'll end it with this for me, is that they talk about 90 other Eternals, and they don't reference any of. They don't like name any names. They don't have anybody else. There's 100 Eternals total, you know, and we
Yeah.
only know about these 10. They don't really mention anybody else.
Well, and that's where it ends.
Yeah,
Is them going to find the other Eternals. But
that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah.
I don't know if they made other comics about that. They probably weren't
Well, I mean,
great.
this was a limited series, but it's possible they did and they followed up, you know, on what he set up in this. Um, yeah, I'm curious. I don't know, but it's bizarre that MCU is going with this. Like, I just,
Yeah, it's a weird choice.
yeah,
There's a billion other characters that they could go with, and they're choosing the Eternals, which is
insane.
like, yeah, it's totally insane. It's like when they picked when we heard there was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We were
Very
like,
much the
what?
same.
And
Yeah,
but now that Guardians is out and that's kind of the norm, they've still succeeded in making us have that same shock value by picking
it's
the
very
Eternals.
smart.
So,
I think it's very smart on Marvel's
yeah,
part because
yeah,
it's like nothing else that's been done by them before. Even though it is
yeah,
Marvel cosmic in a way, it involves like mythology on Earth and like multiple histories and humanity's like history and a lot of weird shit that has nothing to do kind of with like with what's happened before. I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't involve the Infinity Stones at all. It doesn't
No,
like this is way above that. You know,
no,
like
yeah.
these dudes are
Yeah, because
way above
if
that.
Iron Man wasn't there, it wouldn't even be part of the MC. It could be its own thing. But
Right, right.
brought them together.
I loved it. So if y'all
Yeah.
haven't read it, check it out. Definitely. But before you go see the movie, absolutely read this if you get a chance because you'll get an aspect of what you're going into before because I can't imagine walking into that without some kind of
Right.
briefer, you know, like on what this is and being like, what? Maybe it would have been better to go in blind, but I don't know. It seems awesome to kind of read this and then
Yeah.
see what they do with it, you know. So
Yeah. We got a lot to live up to, though. So
yeah, it's a lot. You wanna announce our next books? Or-
you got it written down. I don't have it.
Oh,
So
CBBC. What is it? CBBC 12.
12.
Corey recommended this one to me. For our indie book, we're doing Black Stars Above #1. This is written by Lonnie Nadler, which is one of my favorite writers. I won't say I know a whole ton of his work, but Coming to Me was one of my favorite books that I read in the last 12 months. Absolutely. Artist is Jenna Cha, and Vault Comics is going to be putting that out. And then for our major, we're going to be doing Martian Manhunter #10. That's written by Steve Orlando. Artist is Riley Cosimo. And
You've been
DC,
telling me to read it for a while.
yeah, DC Comics. It's absolutely, I would say it's the top 3 book, if not the best book that DC's putting out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go read them.
Very different. The only thing I can compare it to is that Vision limited series that Tom King did for Marvel. That's the closest that comes to it. But man, hell of a book. And I think it wraps up at number 12. So, yeah, check it out. Read those 2 books. We will see y'all on the other side of Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving for the people who celebrate it. For my Native American friends, happy Native American Day. Fuck Thanksgiving because they hate that shit. So I'm on both sides. But love y'all.
For me, it's just a full day to play video games.
Yeah, for me, my mom's oyster dressing is really the highlight of that. It's killer oyster dressing. That's about it. A bunch of shopping for fucking Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that other crap. But so commercialized and awful. But anyway, peace out. We'll catch you on the flip.